Hello, everybody. We are going to look at lesson 11.11. Okay, so this lesson is going to deal with problem solving. It's going to be a little bit hard, but I'll help you, so just pay attention, and I think you can do a good job. It will get easier as we go along. So let's read this. There are two sandwiches that are the same size. Each sandwich is divided into fourths, but the sandwiches are cut differently. How might the two sandwiches be cut? Okay, so first let's think about what do I need to find out? What's the question? The question is how the sandwiches could be cut. How might the two sandwiches be cut? How can I cut the sandwiches? And then let's think, what information do I need to use? Okay, so let's read this again. There are two sandwiches that are the same size. Yeah, there's two right here. Each sandwich is divided into fourths. Let's do that. Let's look at that. The sandwiches need to be cut into fourths. But the sandwiches are cut differently. We need to cut them differently. So let's go ahead and divide them into fourths. And we'll do one like this, like a T. Right? There I go. I have fourths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 parts, and they're all the same size. They're all equal. Okay, so if I did something like this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's not equal. So that would be incorrect. Some parts are bigger than others. So I can't do another T because it wants me to do it differently. So what if I did it like this? I do 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now I have the sandwich cut into fourths 2 ways. Very good. We answered the question. Okay, let's look at this one now. Slide 3. Okay. Marcus has 2 square sheets of paper that are the same size. Here we go. These are actually rectangles. I should have changed it. 2 rectangle sheets of paper that are the same size. He wants to cut each sheet into halves. What are 2 different ways he can cut the sheets of paper? Okay, so again, what do I need to find out? Well, if I read it again, we need to find out what are 2 different ways he can cut the sheet of paper. So how to cut the paper. And let's look at the information that we need to use. So let's see, Marcus has 2 square sheets of paper that are the same size. We have that right here. We have a picture. He wants to cut each sheet into halves. There we go, halves. And remember, halves means what? It means 2 parts, right? What are 2 different ways to cut the sheets of paper? Okay, so we need to cut them in halves, 2 different ways. And that could be, that was not a straight line. Okay, try to make a straight line. There, that's one way. We could do it this way, cut it up vertically or up and down, or we can cut it, do it right this, horizontally, cut it in half like this. There we go. That's the answer. We cut them 2 different ways. Okay, let's do another one. Shanice has 2 pieces of cloth that are the same size. She needs to divide each piece into thirds. What are 2 different ways she can divide the piece of cloth? Okay, so what do we need to find out? If you look at the question, we need to find out 2 different ways she can divide the piece of cloth, or how to divide the cloth. Okay, and now let's look at information we need. So Shanice has 2 pieces of cloth that are the same size. Here's the cloths. She needs to divide each piece into thirds. What are 2 different ways we can do it? Okay, let me change my color so you can actually see it. We need to cut it into thirds. Remember, if I did it like this, is that thirds? No, this side's very small. This side's big. This side's big. They're not equal parts. So it wouldn't be thirds. We have to make sure that they are equal. Okay, so let's figure out one way we can cut it into thirds. We can do it up and down, right? Ooh, oh, that was the best I could do. There we go. 1, 2, 3. We have thirds. And we could do it up and down. And now we can do it sideways, horizontally. Okay? And I'm trying to do them as straight as I can. Be better if I had a ruler. There we go. Okay, so we figured out how to divide the cloths 2 different ways. Okay, now Brandon has 2 pieces of toast that are the same size. What are 2 different ways he can divide the piece of toast into halves? Okay, so we already know what we need to do, right? We need to divide the pieces of toast. Well, what information do I need to use? Let's see. Brandon has 2 pieces of toast that are the same size. Here's my toast. What are 2 different ways he can divide the pieces of toast into halves? Okay, so we need to do 2 different ways by dividing it into halves. Well, I guess it wouldn't be, you want to get tricked because halves is what? 2. We need to divide it into half. So I can just do it vertically, up and down, or I can do it horizontally, sideways. There we go. Or we can do it another way, though it might be hard because the bread is, we can do it this way too. Oh, there we go. So there's 2 different ways we can divide it into half. Okay, so this one, Mr. Williams has 2 small trays of pasta that are the same size. What are 2 different ways he can cut the pasta into fourths? Okay, so let's look at the information we need. We need to figure out how to cut the pasta. Mr. Williams has 2 small trays of pasta that are the same size. Here we go, right here. What are 2 different ways? So this is 2 different ways. We want to do it one way and another way. He can cut the pasta into fourths. So let's go ahead and cut this pasta into fourths. We can do it like this. There we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we can do it vertically. I'll do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's sort of okay. Let me try again. Let me try one more time. I'm going to do it red. Okay, I'll do it down the middle first. There we go. That's a little bit more equal. Okay, so there's 2 different ways. We divided the pasta into fourths. Okay, so let's look at this one now. David needs to divide 2 pieces of paper into the same number of equal parts. Look at how the first piece of paper is divided. Show how to divide the second piece of paper a different way. Okay? Oops, I need to go back. So, he has 2 pieces of paper. There's one piece and there's the other. We want them to have the same number of equal parts. So how many parts does this have? Well, it has 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So we've looked at the first piece of paper, see how it was divided. It has 4 parts. Now let's show how to divide the second piece of paper a different way. And it needs to be divided into fourths, have 4 parts. So you can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, or do it this way. But I'm going to make a T because because that seems like the easiest way. Okay, and there we go. And it has the same number of parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's look at this. Mrs. Lee has 2 sandwiches that are the same size. She cuts each sandwich into halves. How many equal parts does she have in all? So let's see. What do I need to find out? It's different than the ones we've done before. We need to know how many equal parts she has in all. Okay, how many equal parts she has. Okay, so how do I figure that out? Whoops. How do I figure that out? Well, she cuts each sandwich into halves. So let's cut these sandwich into halves. We don't have to do it a different way. We can just do it this way. There you go. And there you go. Okay, so how many parts does she have in all? How many equal parts does she have? Well, she has 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer is she has 4 equal parts in all. Okay, and this is the last one. Emma wants to cut a piece of paper into fourths. Let's circle that word, fourths. She wants to do fourths. Fill in the bubble next to all the ways she could cut the paper. Okay, so let's look at this one. First of all, let's ask, are these parts equal? Yeah, they're all equal. They're the same size. Now let's see if they're fourths. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, this is correct. We can fill in this bubble right here. Okay, let's look at this part. Are the parts all equal? Yes. But are they fourths? 1, 2, 3. No. So, no, not that one. And this one, are all the parts equal? No. There's 4 parts, but they're not equal, so no. This one's really big. This one's really small. Okay, this one. Are these parts all equal? Yeah, they're all the same size. And are there 4 parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, so we can color that one in. Okay, that is it for today, guys. Oops. If you need any help, please send me a message on Class Dojo, on Google Classroom. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.